Hello, this is Greg Holcomb with VRMA, and I'm here with Robert St. Genis with the Los Angeles Short-Term Rental Alliance, also known as LA-STRA, and we're going to be talking about the press. So Robert, how do you interact with the press at LA-STRA?
So press inquiries tend to come at random. There are certain times when you can expect them more. Let's say a council makes a decision, you can think that you're more likely to hear from the media. There are others that are just because they're doing a feature. I, in the last year and a half, have been, I knew when I went into this position I would have interactions with the press, but I never expected to be in Forbes magazine or in the Christian Science Monitor, the New York Times, the Washington Post. I thought I'd be in the LA Times at some point, and maybe a couple local papers, but obviously there are a lot of people looking at this from a lot of different angles. Now, so what I do, especially if something comes up that they're on a deadline, it's more immediate, I still, however, have learned that you don't react immediately, meaning find out what they're calling about, schedule time to talk to them. I got a call one morning, for example, there was a lawsuit filed in Los Angeles against an owner. And they're like, I don't know if you saw this paper this morning and seen the lawsuit, can you talk to us in 10 minutes? And I said, I'm gonna need at least a half hour. Because I'm not going to speak to a lawsuit that I had not looked at all. I had not seen the LA Times article. Quite honestly, I was just getting dressed. I had not done anything yet. It was 7:30 in the morning. So you wanna be precise, accurate. There is a reason, I think we're critical of politicians about the fact that they repeat the same issues over and over again. There's a reason to do that. There really is. Always keep going back to your talking points. Always keep, reaffirming what you think is most important related to the issue at hand.
Have you and your membership worked on op-eds or letters to the editor campaigns? How successful have you been with that? What are some of the processes that go along with that?
So what I do now is intentionally, as much as possible, is try to get other people in front of the media instead of myself. I think those who are watching short-term rentals know what Robert St. Genis in LA-STRA, but getting my board members, getting my members, plus they have much more unique stories. I represent the interests of all of them, but it's not my story. If you're a person that has a fourplex and you're renting out one as a short-term rental, now you have your own story. If you are this, that, it doesn't matter what. Housekeepers really make great stories. How they, have had better working conditions, higher pay. In many cases, I find that they face less discrimination. So these are the kinds of things that really make for good media interaction. I always go out of my way to provide talking points and coach somebody. A lot of people obviously are very nervous in going in front of the media. And there are other people, bluntly, you kind of want to rein in with the media because you don't want them going so far off message.
Sure.
You can't tell people exactly what to say, but you can try to keep them within a parameter of what your message is and be hopeful. Because it can really hurt you if somebody goes in totally a different direction.
Now, I know you've done events, either at city councils, you've had rallies, or you've had separate events at venues. Do you do outreach to your local media to make them aware of what's going on, and how do you go about doing that?
So we have done some press releases at different times. We do invite media to certain events. We intentionally don't invite media to other events. We are planning a media event actually in the near future at LA-STRA. And then you had asked about op-eds. We have done some op-eds directly. We have done some in conjunction with the communications team at Expedia. We work with our government relations firm on op-ed pieces as well. They were, for example, able to get the op-ed from the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, which ran right at the same time we were meeting with the Planning Commission, so it was perfect. Oh, wow. So it's trying to plan those things out and seeing how you can best get them to get, with the media, what I have found, for example, when I invite them to, let's say, to one of our events, it's hard. They have to have a reason. And also, what you never know is what's coming up that day. You know, that
Sure.
they may be planning to come, and then, oh, you know, we have another car chase on the 405, so that takes precedent.
Sure, sure. Great. Do you have any other tips with working with the press or reporters that you would like to give?
Build relationships, build bonds, and also know, however, that just means that they'll pay attention to you. Don't be surprised when you do a 20-minute interview and you got a sentence in the article. That just happens. They're not usually the editor as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a solid relationship, at least you know you'll be hopefully treated more fairly.
Great. Great. Well, thank you very much. This was Robert St. Genis with the Los Angeles Short-Term Rental Alliance discussing some tips on working with the press. Thank you.